Hi everyone, this is Lisa Marie. Welcome to the studio! Before I start coloring today, I'm going to choose a color scheme. I like to choose the color scheme workshop and use that because it has great color samples of the 7 fundamental color schemes. It's a PDF, so I can easily scroll past the definitions straight to the visual samples because I'm a visual person. I'll put the link to this in the video description if you want to download it. Today, I'm going with split complementary colors. And in this PDF, there are already some split complementary color sets to choose from. And I'm choosing an orangish red with blue and green. For extra help, I'll scroll down in a minute. There it is. There's a color wheel, which gives me more ideas for color options. I love that color wheel. Now I can start coloring the mandala on this page, now that I have the color scheme planned out. I colored the grayscale on this page in a previous video. I'll put the link to that in the video description for you if you want to go take a look. Today in the mandala, I'm using Ohuhu Markers and Prismacolor pencils. I'll put all the exact colors I'm using in the video description below. You don't have to guess. I like using these two mediums together. The markers provide a nice, rich color, and the pencils add a nice extra touch of shading. So like I said before, I chose a split complementary color scheme, and in the workshop, that's defined as a scheme with one base color, and then the 2 colors on each side of the complementary color of that base color. So my base is the orange-red, and the opposite color on the color wheel is the blue-green, so I split it into blue and green. Split complementary schemes are a fantastic alternative to complementary color schemes. If you go with a complementary color scheme, using colors directly opposite each other on the color wheel, they are super strong visually, but they also make a lot of visual tension because the colors are complete opposites. Split complementary colors kind of tone it down without losing all of that visual vibrance between the colors. So you still get great contrast, just less tension. And I'm not the only person who uses color schemes. Vincent van Gogh used a split complementary color scheme in his self-portrait Bandaged. And yes, his ear is bandaged because he cut it off himself. So great artist, but not the best at impulse control. I loved drawing this page, combining the movement of the dancer with the fun mandala pattern and a touch of realistic grayscale. If you want, you can download this page yourself to color it. Also, this is actually part of a series. So, if you really like it, you can download the entire bundle of Mandala Dancers. All links are in the video description. I find it very relaxing to color mandalas. The pattern and repetition of shapes definitely soothes me, and that's another reason I picked a color scheme beforehand. With the colors already chosen, I could just get lost in the pattern and practice some mindful coloring. For those of you who haven't heard of it, mindful coloring ties into this concept of mindfulness. That's when you are focused on the present moment and the current task you're working on without thinking of other stuff or judging yourself. So with mindful coloring, you're only thinking about coloring and not judging yourself for the way you're coloring. You're just sort of going with it. In conventional mindfulness practice, people focus on their breathing. So breathing meditation is a good example. But here, the focus is coloring. So you could say, for me, coloring has replaced breathing. And now you can see how I'm using touches of colored pencil over the markers, just some subtle touches of highlight and shadow. They really help add an extra sense of volume to the pattern, and I don't lose those rich hues from the markers. On the outer circle, I'll do the same thing, follow the mandala pattern, stick with the split complementary colors I chose in the beginning. And then after I'm done filling in the shapes with the markers, I'll add touches of highlight and shadows with colored pencils. Quick reminder, if you want to see more of my videos where I discuss coloring techniques, go check out my playlist, Coloring Like a Pro. Coloring mindfulness, by the way, it is one of the main reasons I do voiceovers on my videos. I really struggle to talk while I'm coloring. I just get wrapped up in the moment and focus so much on what I'm doing, I forget to talk. And just so you know, there are benefits to mindful coloring. It's relaxing, can help slow your heart rate, eases anxiety, all good stuff. Really, there are so many benefits to coloring, I think. Just the one drawback for me personally is I have trouble talking while I'm coloring. Leave a comment if you also have trouble talking while coloring so I don't feel like I'm all alone there. I love how the markers flow and fill in the mandala shapes here. Overall, I like how this split complementary scheme looks. It works well with the colors I already have and I've already used in the grayscale areas. With the dress and the circle colored in, you get a nice sense of how this color scheme feels. I really like the touch of warmth with the red and how it's offset by the other colors. Red can be overwhelming if it's not balanced out properly with other hues. But I think this color scheme did a really good job. I really liked the way that the red is balanced out here. Next, after I finish doing some touch-up with the pencil, I am going to break away from the mandala pattern and have some fun with the background. Just need to finish up with some nice highlights and shadows. Nothing extreme with the pencils. Just slight touches are all that are necessary to get a little sense of volume, to help it feel like that mandala pattern is really popping off the page a bit. The markers did all the heavy lifting, all the real work filling in the shapes. The pencils are just the final touches. Now onto the background. Here I'm using pan pastels, and yes, that's a makeup applicator I'm using. If it's soft enough for my skin, it's soft enough for my paper. I start with a layer of red to get a nice warm undertone. Just gonna try and work to get it in every little nook and cranny without getting it on all of the grayscale and the mandala that I just colored in. It was actually a bit challenging getting it in all the ripples of that material around the material without getting it all over the material. But it's fun. After the red, I'll put black right over the red that I just put down. It'll darken the entire background, but I won't totally lose the warmth of the red. And by dabbing both colors on with the applicator, so instead of a smooth sweeping motion I'm dabbing, I create a nice soft textured feel. Also, by making the background dark, it provides a great contrast to the brighter highlights and colors in the mandala pattern. So together with the red and the black, I'm getting contrast, I'm getting a nice textured feel. And making sure, again, I get it in every nook and cranny. After the pastels, then I play with some Jelly Roll pens. I use the pens to emphasize shape, so to get that nice crisp line around the mandala circle. It's subtle, but small details can help give an image a nice finished look. I know you can't really see it in the video, but it's a nice subtle line that I'm getting right there with the pen. Small details can help give an image really that nice finished appearance. Then I'm going to play with circles. And the colors I use are also part of the split complementary color scheme. So if you look at the colors of the circles, they're the same colors as the markers I used in the mandala. So even though I made the background dark for that great contrast, I'm tying it together visually by sticking with accents of the same color scheme I chose before I started coloring. And the circles, they don't have to be perfect. They're just fun and mimic that circle shape we already have with that mandala ring around her. And I really like the organic feel of the looser circles too. When I'm done with the pens, that'll be it for today. Thank you for joining me in the studio. Remember to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss the next video, and stay creative. Bye!